Hey guys, and welcome to Alpha1Mike podcast, which I think I'm going to be calling Friday Night with Mike. I guess that works. For those who know and for those who don't know, I've started this podcast out of my own madness from being in lockdown through COVID, and I know all of you are probably bored at home trying to find things to do, so I'm hoping this will add some excitement and cheer you guys up. So I have a few announcements quickly just to start. Welcome, first of all. Make sure you like and subscribe. Please check out A1MTactical.com, which is my new website where I'm selling some swag and some hoodies, hats, etc. And show some support on there. And if you don't mind, go give a like or follow on Instagram as well at A1M_tactical. But guys, here we are. We're going to start it off with a guest that I have with me, which is Joshy. Joshy, say hello for me.
How you doing?
Yeah, that was so energetic. Let's try that again. Come on, Joshy, say hello for us.
Hi, yeah, how you doing? Is that better?
I didn't. Okay. Oh, we'll try that another time. Easy. Okay. Let's see. Let's start from here. So, guys, I think the whole idea of this, and Joshy as well, is I think we want to start off with, explaining who you are, how we met potentially, what you do, how did you get into airsoft, etc. So, yeah, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so basically I started airsoft when I was 13. So this was back in, 2011? So I've been playing airsoft for about nine-ish years now. I started playing because I got bored one day and then started Googling different things I could do. And I had a BB gun, and look what my dad gave me, and I was like, BB guns are cool, but what can I do better? So I went and found airsoft, and then Googled it, tried to look at prices of guns, and this is when I was year 7, so I was quite young, so I couldn't really afford anything. So then my dad took me to an event with my close mate Luke.
Cool. What event was that?
It was a AP. It was one of the normal skirmish days.
Okay, airsoft plantation.
Yeah. So that's the one that I've literally played at since I started. So we've got a higher package. So I was running the shitty AKs, one of the old AK packages that they had before most of them died.
Okay.
And so I run that, had a blast, and then I already had a couple of bits of combat gear because I was like, you know what, with my Christmas money, I'm going to buy myself a combat belt, which I still have to this day. I almost broke it when I set myself on fire with a smoke grenade, but that's beside the point.
How the hell did you do that, buddy?
So I was playing at AP again, and I went for a run, and it was in one of the back pouches in my on my butt, so it was over my right arse cheek, and as I was running, the lids come off the smoke and ignited in the pouch.
Oh, damn.
So as I'm running, there's a pile of, it's burnt a hole through the bottom of my pouch, and there's just green smoke just pouring everywhere out of me. So as I'm sort of running, I'm trying to be all badass, clearing corners and stuff like that, proper
with smoke coming out of his ass.
With smoke out my ass, to the point that I heard 4 people behind me going, "You're on fire!" So I thought they were like, "Yeah, you're doing really well," and I was like, "Oh, cool!" and then my mate that I started airsoft with come grab me on the shoulder, pulled me back, went, "You are on fire," and I was like, "Oh." So as I've sort of felt the heat,
it was.
Then I've sort of pulled my belt off and dropped it as and then I've on my multicam tropic trousers. There's nice, how camo fades.
Yeah,
they're faded. Apart from this one green spot, which has been repainted from my.
Oh, have you still got the same trousers?
Yeah, it's burnt a hole through my pouch. It did stain my belt, but I managed to get that off.
Okay.
And it's stained my combat trousers, so I've now got a nice green arse cheek on it. It's just a different shade to the rest of the camo.
That's a statement. That is an absolute statement. Okay. I've got a green ass. I actually haven't noticed. I don't know if you've ever used those pants.
No, I haven't
we've ever
multicam
played.
Tropic since I've known you, to be fair. I've only been running my multicams recently.
Right.
Or civvies when we went for Vela, so I haven't actually run my tropics in a while because there's just nothing I've... it's usually something I used to wear when me and a couple of mates used to play. But I've switched back to multicam and stuff since, so...
Okay. So, what sites do you usually play at? I mean, what part of London do you live in, or part of the UK?
I live in Essex, so
Okay.
for me, the sites I play mainly is AP, Splatoon, and I've also played at a couple other sites. I've tried. There was a site in Chelmsford, which was on one of the 4x4 tracks, and this was when I was really young. But they basically did a free day because no one would play there. So they basically turned around to everyone, "Hey, look, you can play for free, and we'll and like you guys just come and enjoy it." So we were like the team that I was with at the time, which was the 82nd, because I was sort of like the tiny little one, because my dad was a part of the team, so I was just sort of following around like, "Hi guys, I'm here," and because it's an old 4x4 track, it was very muddy. So we're sort of flanked in enemy position, we're sneaking around.
Right.
And do you know Drew and all of them?
I think I know Drew. I'm not sure. I think I've met him once, I believe.
Yeah, so basically I was sort of sneaking behind him, and he goes, "Follow my exact footsteps." So he steps because they're going through like proper thick mud.
Yeah.
And where I've stepped, I've then sunk up to my knees in mud, and I can't get out. So the person behind me is pissing himself laughing because he's just in this tiny little
Hold
kid.
on. I just got to make this a point. Why is it that whenever, especially our group of friends, right? Even if we're in immediate danger, the first thing what they do is laugh, then help.
It's just what you got to do, man. It's just how you know they care. Like literally, all because I was quite short as a kid, and then I sort of like sprouted up. But all they've like seen is this tiny little kid, like because there's one of them standing behind me, which is his brother Kieran, I'm pretty sure, and all he's seen is a small child get even smaller and half his height.
I mean, you're pretty big guy, right? So I can only imagine what that looked like when you were younger.
Yeah, no, it was quite funny. So you just see this little like Oompa Loompa child just like slump into the water, like into this like wet mud, and just disappear. Oh man! So then all Drew's heard is me behind him go, "Drew," and he's turned around and then sort of like looked where I usually am, gone, "There's no one there." Then looked down and realised I've just sunk in the mud. So then I've had to have two of them grab me and pull me up and out of the mud because I was sort of like just engulfed in it.
Just sinking in. Yeah. I mean, I've never had anything that mad. I mean, there was my first ever outdoor game at a place called Tactical Warfare in Croydon, and which is near central London.
Yeah.
It was so muddy and wet that the suction from the mud pulled my boot off my foot. It was just really bad. But luckily I didn't put my sock in the mud because that would have been the worst feeling ever. But yeah. But look, Joshy, tell me more about, what's been your experience or your best experiences, or what do you enjoy about the sport, right? You've been doing it for 9 years. I've only been doing the sport for 2 years, I think, or not even that yet. About a year or so, 1 year and 8 months. But you've experienced it a lot more than I have, for sure. It'd be good to get your views on the community of Airsoft, the people that you've met. How do you feel about the sport? Where do you think it's going to go? What do you want to see from it?
Well, one of the things that, like, because when I first started at AP, like, they're like 130 people, like, a game day. So it's getting more and more each day. When I first started, it was like 60 a game day. And the games were so much different because you'd have, you had John, you'd have Andy, and they'd all be making the games. And it was just fantastic. It still is now. It's just different. So because as they've expanded, they've had to make new stuff, and they've completely changed the site around. And it's like, and they've now got Tower Airsoft, so it's getting bigger and bigger, which is awesome because I love those guys, and seeing them grow that much is great. But best part of the Airsoft community has to be the people that play, sort of to enjoy it rather than like because you have the very toxic side of Airsoft. Yeah. And me and you both know that, of the sort of the people that wear all their cry precisions and don't want to get them dirty at all, and you just sort of sit there and sort of like, why spend money on actual combat gear if you're not going to use it like actual combat gear?
No, I 100% agree.
Shred people that don't have that stuff.
Yeah, sort of I've seen that. I think you got an absolute point there where anybody that takes this game seriously should not be playing on a normal skirmish day, right? No. Go to your mil sims where there's regulations in place and everybody has to be a certain mindset, whatever. But if you're going to a site to play on a normal game day with a skirmish where you've got children, parents, people who are just there to have fun, then you shouldn't be there if you're going to be that type of individual, I think.
Yeah, if you're going to sit there and rip people with having blue guns, like, everyone started somewhere. and it's sort of like, luckily I was in a situation where I didn't have to worry about having a blue because my dad was in a situation where he could get that stuff sorted.
Yeah.
So, but whereas, because I sort of went, so ROE.
Yeah.
Love those guys there as well. But so I went to AP, and then the next, I think it was that weekend, me and my dad went to ROE.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he bought me a rifle and got himself a rifle. And I think it ended up cost like 567 quid or something like that. And then me and him started playing like every other weekend and stuff like that. And like we made for kids. When I first started, Darren wasn't a marshal; he was a player, and that's how because while I was playing,
okay,
yeah. So while I was playing, my dad was just talking to people in the safe zone, and like getting to know people.
Yeah, yeah.
And he made friends with Darren, and then Darren became a marshal because he spent so much time being down there, and he's an awesome guy, so it just suits it down there. But
that is cool.
No,
I think that's one of the coolest things about this, right? Is that you've got everybody in the safe zone, whatever site it is, and you can walk up to anybody and start a friendship. Like, everybody's open to talk to each other, unless you're one of those, really rare occasions where somebody just goes there on their ones and doesn't talk to anybody, and it's just like one of those lone wolves, which I've never seen ever. But I think every time I walk into the safe zone, I think it's how I met you as well, right? I just walked up to you guys, had a chat, spoke about your gear. We immediately hit it off, and now we're in this bromance that we have now, I think.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or have I got that completely wrong?
No, it was because what was it? It was because I remember that this was the first time trialing my my pat, and sort of as I was sitting there, you've come up because you knew Len, of course.
Yeah.
So then, as we were just talking, and me and you just started talking, and then shooting the shit, and then we were just taking the piss. And then we played a couple more times together at Favela, and we also played at where else was it? Tower as well. And then we sort of talked more and more and more and more, and then sort of
Tower is where we took that awesome photo that you may or may not see at the beginning of this video.
Well, and I've also sent it on your banner on your bloody on your YouTube. I didn't realise it was on there as well.
Yeah, you can't diss that photo. That's probably the best photo we've got, right?
Oh, no, I love it.
It's very well taken. I can't remember what his name was. Who was the guy who took the photo?
That's my mate that I started airsoft with.
All right, well, shout out to Joshy's mate for taking that photo. I appreciate it. It's been circled a lot. It's been sent around the circuit. Let's put it that way. Okay, cool. So we established that the sites usually you're playing out is like, especially now the new site. It's AP, Splatoon. We've got Airsoft Tower now, right? Tower Airsoft, which is a new site from fun. AP. There's some awesome sites, right? And from my experience being in central London, I've had to travel up there and stay with Alex, for example, who's a good friend of mine. He's a sniper within our group, our community, who's doing amazing content. It sucks because the only thing I have here in London is a place called Bunker 51, which is like an underground car park, but because it's so close quarters, COVID is obviously not letting that run.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got Tactical Warfare, which, I can't diss it, and I can. A lot of things have gone on there from my personal experience, but for my first ever experience playing outdoors, it's a great place to get started because it's just, it's like a rundown kind of semi-organized place where you can just get out, play. You're going to get a lot of people arguing about not taking their hits because no one really follows the rules or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a madness thing. There's no kind of structure, but it's a good place to get out and play.
Essex, they're like that, where like they're rumoured to every single game day there's a punch up, or if someone's like fighting.
I've not seen that. I think you were there. I think the only time I've had an awkward situation was when someone came up to me and told them that they shoved him and headbutted him when it wasn't really the case. But then again, he antagonized them by calling them a name for overhitting him. So, there's pros and cons on both sides. But yeah, apart from that, that's the only bad thing I've ever seen. Apart from accidents, for example, I think it was like last year, somebody came over a ridge at AP, obviously not understanding that it's wet, slid down the side of this bit of a trench and went into the side of a truck. Yeah,
that is the most common thing to happen there. Is people don't judge their speed going over that hill.
Absolutely.
Don't brake, slip on the mud and hit that bloody vehicle. That happens so much over the winter months.
Everybody needs to understand that your safety is your charge alone. You take care of yourself. It's not the marshal's job. You sign a document when you go on there saying that you understand what you're doing, right? You follow the rules and you're fine. But if you're going to go gun-ho over, and it just doesn't make any sense, man. Just be safe, play smart, and have a good time, right?
Do you know, I want to know something really funny so I was at a weekender with, this is when I first met Len.
Okay.
And this was at night time. There was a couple of guys with, like, Gen 3 nods. So, they think they're really cool and, like,
okay,
special forces as fuck. And, as we're so we're sort of hiding in the fort. And, because with their nods, they don't work in shadows. So if you don't move in a shadow, they can't see you.
Okay.
Because they don't run in IR light, so they can't actually see anything when it comes to like shit in shadows. And so I've sort of been sitting there looking at the entrance, and I've sort of seen like 3 silhouettes gently moving towards us. So I've gently raised my rifle and shot him. Of course, I got rinsed. But well, there's 3 guys in front of you going to shoot you. But do you know Dave, the police guy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So he's quite he is the most soft guy you'll ever meet. Unless you sort of like threaten someone. So, and he's also a marshal at AP. This where it was AP. Right. So then I've sort of like walked out dead, and all of a sudden someone, I think it was Len, said to him like, "You gonna take that hit or something?" Or someone, they got a bit close, and then one of them threatened to knock Len out. And then he just hurt. Oh my God. They threatened to knock her out, and then and I can say this because like AP staff shut that down really quickly, and they sorted it out. But you've got, and Dave was in that fort, who is an AP marshal and a police officer, and then Dave spoke up, and then I think he either said something to Dave, or then like sort of like basically tried to act hard, and then Dave raised his voice. Well, not even like yelled.
He was being assertive, right?
Yeah, he was assertive, and you just sort of heard he got up, and that guy got up and ran because he was he's had a marshal and a police officer who was just threatening someone right in front of,
right?
And it's sort of like he just turned around and went, "Sorry, what did you say?" And he goes, "Can you repeat that?" And he goes, "You do know you've just threatened a marshal, mate?" And he just goes, "Oh," and then you just he wasn't there because he ran off and tried to get away. But it was why would you throw a threat when you don't know who's in that fort?
I mean, look, for those who know me, which is starting to get a bit more known, I guess. Every time I go there, people are asking for me, which is scary. Sometimes I have a rage fit, but they know that if I'm having a rage fit, just let me have it, and it doesn't mean anything. Do you know what I mean? But if I don't know you, or the person that you're raging at doesn't know you, you're completely in the wrong. You should never do that in a game of airsoft, right?
No,
ever.
It just ruins it.
Well, yeah, and I love it when people go, "Oh, you've hit me too many times." You're in a sport where you've got weapons or these firearms that shoot more than one round, right? It's impossible that somebody's going to hit you with one shot. If it's a sniper, dude, then yeah, you're going to get hit with once. If you don't call your hit, you're definitely getting full auto'd by me, right? I am rinsing you head to toe if you don't call your hits. And that's if you're obviously not taking your hits. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm like that. I'm one of those where I'll semi-auto for a whole game. I rarely play full auto. But if you tempt me or push me, I will push that switch and you are going down, boy.
Well, it's like, no, I completely agree with you. It's like when I was playing at Tower the first time, there was a guy hiding like around the side of the bush. Yeah. Like behind one of the game boundaries, and me and my mate pushed up to a tree, and we didn't see him behind. We were literally 3 of us were on the tree. He was on one side, and me and my mate were on the other. Okay. And he's turned around gently, and I've seen him move at the corner of my eye, so I've turned to shoot him, and he's shot, and then he hasn't hit any of us because I would have felt it because literally it was I could have poked him. That's how close I was to him. I heard his shots hit the tree and ricochet off.
Right.
And he then starts moaning at us and ripping, like going, "Oh, didn't I hit you?" I was like, "Mate, we would have felt it. Have you seen how close we are?" And he just goes, "Oh, well, I definitely hit you." He's like, "You didn't." And then he just walks off like huffing and puffing and saying shit under his breath. It's sort of like, you're playing a game, you're playing a sport, and you willingly signed up to be at this sport
Yeah.
where you get shot. If you don't like to be shot, go play something else, or or put on more layers. It's one of those things that why play something which involves being shot so you feel it, so you know you've been shot. If you don't like being shot or don't like a little bit of pain.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't make
I
sense
completely
to
agree. I mean, I made a mistake of my first ever game or experience of airsoft was me going to Wolf Armories in Camden on a Saturday. I was wearing jeans, smart shoes, and a short sleeve shirt, right?
Yeah.
I go to the store after my boss told me, go check it out. It's awesome. So, okay, I go there. And they go, oh, well, we've got a game tonight if you want to try it out. And I'm like, okay. And then I started going through the store, fell in love with this Glock, which was still painted blue and black because I didn't have a Yukara. Bought that, 3 mags. I got, what was it? I think it was a Viper tactical vest with no pouches on it. So I just had a vest. I bought some iPro, and I put the mags in my pockets, and I went and played. And bearing in mind, I had a short sleeve shirt, no hat, no face protection, nothing. I swear the first shot that I got was right in the Adam's apple. And I was like,
Yeah, they ain't fun.
I'm doing this again. that's what. Yeah, I know.
I was standing there reloading once, and as I was standing there, so I sort of put the rifle into my shoulder, raised it up, pulled my mag out of my vest and put it in, and as I've lifted up to put it in, I've been shot straight in the throat. Because I was sort of just standing there, sort of like, maybe I won't reload. Put the rifle down, put the mag back in my vest, and just walked off.
But is it weird that I didn't feel it? Like, I went back to the safe zone after the game was ended, and everybody was looking at me going, oh, like, that is, like, bad. I'm like, what? And they were like, your neck is just, like, you got a huge, like, lump on your neck. And I was like, okay. So I went to the mirror and looked at it, and I was like, oh, my fucking God. What was that? Then after that, I got, like, horns and everything. Say that again?
One of my first shots was right in the knuckle. And it looked like I had
the
an extra
fingertip
knuckle.
as well, man. Fingertips and knuckles.
Oh, no. So you know the skin right between your 2 knuckles?
Yeah.
I was hit there and it made a blood blister. So I just looked like I had 5 knuckles. Because it was on that part. Because it had
I'm trying to think.
Like bubbled up in between my other 2. So I just had this red sort of lump sticking out that I had to pop.
Right.
Because it's sort of like there. I've always had my tooth shot out 3 times. I've been shot in the lip and the round's gone into my mouth 3 times.
I've had that. What recommendations would you give our viewers here today, whether new starters or current players? What would be your statement that you would give to people? What would be your advice?
When you're starting, be careful who you talk to. Well, because most people will be biased in the sense of they like this type of rifle, so they're going to sell you on that kind of rifle because they want someone to have that kind of rifle with them.
Good point.
So, literally, if you look what you want, look at some reviews of the rifle, ask around, sort of like Reddit pages is everything. Like, case in point, when I got this KWA, I had a look on there, found out that common issues with the gun, and found out that these are some of the things that I could need to do. And also found out that someone was saying it's a great gun. So I looked at that because they had gas blowout's their entire life. So I went from that.
Okay.
But it's one of those things that you need to look around and find what suits you. Because if you're sort of like a smaller build or you want something standard, then you can always go for an M4 because there's so many parts for them. It's unbelievable. And you can also get really lightweight ones. Whereas if you wanted an AK, then you could look at the G&G. There's a lot of different types of everything.
Okay.
And it's the thing of not everyone, people will be biased in what they say.
Right.
Case in point, if you were to ask Alex what to get, he'd say a sniper. If you asked me, I'd say something along the lines of a TM because that's what I use most prominently.
Right.
So it's one of those things that you need to make your own opinion on stuff because if you don't, people will force theirs like on you.
Okay.
That's one of the main things I learned is actually sort of look into stuff before believing everything is gospel.
Right. Okay. So I guess that would be yours for new starters. What would you say to current players, in your opinion?
Some people just need to calm down. Literally, at the end of the day, it's a game, and we're there to piss around, have a laugh, and relieve stress. You don't need to bring more stress by getting angry at someone, or like I've seen people get angry at kids, or like in the village, I've been sprayed in the face, or like in close quarters, sort of like. Full auto is fun and all, but it's not needed. Like it's one of those things that you need to sort of realise how stuff should go, and then you have to base it on that. And it's just being responsible for your action. If you can feel yourself getting annoyed, walk off the field.
Yep.
don't put someone else in danger, because I've had it before where I've got so like annoyed that I've literally just pulled my mags out, walked off the field, because you don't want to be that person that gets banned off of a field because you've blown off at someone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, people need to realise that at the end of the day, we are dressing up as soldiers and shooting each other for fun.
Yeah. I mean, if I can add something to that, and this comes from personal experience, and I think Joshie knows about this as well. Take into consideration that there are people out there with disabilities, with learning difficulties, etc. Don't expect everybody to be the perfect mirror image of yourself. No one understands things the way you do. You've got to take others into consideration as right. So that's where misunderstandings happen. There have been recent incidents because of that. Okay? Those who know, those who don't, well, just be cautious of that. Okay? If you do have something to take out or to get off your chest, wait until the end of the game, go to a marshal, go to whoever it may be, and talk to them calmly, because the last thing you want is blowing something up and it's ruining your whole day, right? But yeah, I mean, Joshie, tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, no, you're completely right. At the end of the day, you're responsible for your behaviour, and you don't know what someone else is going through, because you could yell at someone and they could then have a panic attack in the middle of an airsoft field, which then stops the entire game for everyone.
True.
So sort of wait till it's sort of, if you take things calmly and we actually act as a community, because airsoft is and this is just from a UK standpoint.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the reason why our sports get banned, because
True.
some countries don't even have airsoft allowed. It's
True.
like people that I've seen photos of them just driving around with their rifle on their front seat. It's sort of like that will get you either shot or banned, like having weapons. So
yeah, even wearing your equipment, right, whilst driving to a site, be very wary what you're wearing. Do not wear your plate carrier with your mags still in it.
Yeah, mags are an offensive thing.
Do not do that.
For them. Same with any ammo, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, our ghillie friend, he just looks like a bush driving, but then he can't see properly with that. So at least don't wear your hood, bro. Don't do that. But what?
If you wear multicam, people think you're police.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I did have it once. I mean, when I first started, I did do it, but I didn't take it into consideration because obviously I didn't know better. I was just excited and wore it. And I remember being stopped at a traffic light. So my dad was driving, and he obviously didn't think of it either. But this woman just looked from her car in, just going. You could see her look at you and then slowly look forward. So it's like I hope no one's clocked me kind of thing.
Me and Len, I was driving Len home after Favela.
Right.
And there's, I think it was a Corsa, come flying up my right, because I was in the middle lane.
Right.
And it's like gone to overtake me. And me and Len were like funny, so we're both wearing our helmets. Because I had mine in the boot
I think I saw the picture.
So as it's gone... Yeah, so as it's gone flying past, it's looked in, saw us both helmets, and then slammed on the brakes and gone flying behind me. Sort of like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
But if you wear it, it's really funny how, or like before I've pulled up, because I've got a Mondeo and it looks proper like unmarked police.
so that's already sketchy enough.
I've pulled up on someone's like next to them at the lights, and they're clearly on their phone.
Right.
And you can tell that because the way that they've thrown their phone on the floor and sat up like they've not done anything wrong. You know, like the clearly guilty face that people have got.
Yeah.
Like when they've done something wrong. Yeah, they've had that. And I've just looked at her, and she's looked at me like worried, and I've just smiled and looked forward. And then she's sort of like, you can see sort of her trying to like fumble with her feet to try and pick her phone up. Jesus. Because she dropped it between her legs.
My God. Well, okay. Well, look, it's been a pleasure to have you on board, dude. I hope you've enjoyed this half an hour with me. This is all new. Hopefully it will get better, but I appreciate you taking the time. I mean, how do you feel about it? What do you think? Is there any views that you think I should take and change? I know you mentioned something about Spotify before we started the channel. I might take you up on that.
Yeah, no, I just do it so you can have a audio listener. So then for some people, because if you were to make these longer, for example, you could just sit there, chill out, and listen to people talk about airsoft.
That's
which
true.
Quite a lot of people like.
Whoever's watching now, comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Do you think I should do a podcast on Spotify and keep the audio and put it up there?
SoundCloud as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, SoundCloud is probably not a bad idea. We'll just have to see what the community thinks, right? And I mean, hope you guys enjoyed Joshie being my first guest on my podcast. Make sure to go and show him some love. He's on Instagram. Joshie, do you want to plug in your Instagram name?
Yeah, literally everything that I've got is just Joshy MV. Because that's just what I am.
There we go.
That's just my name plus. Well, it's literally just my name. Just made looking special.
Just literally my name. And well, we're discussing the photo. The photo is the photo that we're both in as well, so you can't miss it as well. He's looking all badass. He's looking badass there. But look,
and it's on my page as well. So
there we go, on his page. Well, look, I'm going to make one last plug, guys. Please like, subscribe. Please visit a1mtactical.com. Show some love on Instagram as well on a1m_tactical. Loads of cool hoodie designs, flat caps, hoodies, caps, everything you could think of. I'm making new designs every day. And if you have any cool designs that you want that would be cool for the airsoft or whatever you're doing, winter is coming as well. So if you want something warm, just let me know and we can see what we can do. But yeah, appreciate you all joining and I hope you enjoyed the show. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.